I am Gregory, and this is Pensane. On the table, we have a very special box from Hong Kong. Fragile, or fragile, it must be Italian. Don't shake, shake. And the contents here, it says fountain pen, toy, and masking tape. Yeah, so let's open this up. Yes, here we go. Thank you. Love stationery, love life. This is the very special something. And a very nice little thank you note. Dear Gregory, thank you purchase. The nib must always on top. Prepared the pen holder. I assume that's instructions. Yes. So this could be a disaster, but I'm excited for this disaster, this potential disaster. Okay, before I unwrap this, I have to give a huge shout out to Fountain Pens, Ink, and More right here on YouTube. I don't know her name, but she recently showed a similar pen, and it blew me away. And so I was on the hunt, but actually she was kind enough to mention that she discovered the pen through an Instagram account called stationary_studio.sheen_shan. Yes. So, and I communicated with them through their Instagram account, and they pointed me to a listing on Etsy. The account on there is Kong Girls, and unfortunately if you go on Kong Girls right now, they don't have anything even remotely like this. I'm hoping these become more readily available because it's pretty awesome. So, without further ado, that's quite a build-up, but I wanted to be sure and get those shout-outs in. So, all right. So we have this, and again, we'll save this for a little later. Comes in a protective plastic case. Let me pull this out. Now, this is different from the one that Fountain Pens, Ink, and More showed. All right, here it is. Just looking at it, it reminds me of, oh, what is it? I'm not gonna remember, but one of the Moon Man pens. I forget which one is shaped kind of like this. Yeah, let's take a look here. So you can see it's a fountain pen, specifically an eyedropper fountain pen, but look at that nib. This particular one has a black glass nib. How cool is that? Now, this differs from the one that Fountain Pens, Ink, and More showed. Hers was a piston filler, which unfortunately that one is no longer available, and apparently this one is no longer available. But this is the eyedropper version. From these instructions, it says the nib must always on top. Prepared the pen holder. So that suggests to me that you leave the nib in there. You don't take it out and fill it. Well, does this unscrew? No, this does not unscrew. So I assume this is, I don't know, that doesn't look like one piece, but, oh wait, there we go. We're learning together. Okay. So you have plenty of threads there. You have the O-ring. You know, you could put silicone grease. In this case, I'm not going to do that because honestly, I don't think this is a pen that you would leave inked up. To me, it doesn't make sense to do that. First of all, I love the size of it. And I think it's gonna feel very natural writing with it. It feels like I'm holding a fountain pen. A lot of the times when you use glass dip pens, it feels like the tip of the nib is so far away from your fingers that for me it's very unnatural because I hold the pen down low. So this feels like it's gonna be perfect. Very interesting. It's very lightweight. I would worry about the durability of this plastic. So it's not something I would really carry around. It feels like pretty lightweight plastic. But at the same time, you don't get the impression that it's poorly made, if that makes any sense. I do love the green band there, which is actually going to go nicely with the ink I will be putting in here. Before I do this inking process, let's quickly show the other item because it's not really going to play a role in this. This Fountain Pens, Ink, and More also showed this. First of all, it came with a little roll of washi tape. Oh, cool. I don't know if you can make that out. But it has fountain pens on it. That is so cool. Very cool. That's a nice little touch. But yes. So this milk crate looking thing is actually a pen holder. All right, so I'm excited. It did come with this, but the ink I have selected, which is gonna go perfectly, is actually Rotten Seaweed from Birmingham Pen Company. I have this huge bottle, and it comes with a built-in eyedropper. So, and I'm not gonna put a ton of ink in this, just because I seriously doubt you would want to store ink in here. I think it would, first of all, it'd probably clog the feed, and you would certainly end up with a bunch of ink in the cap. I suppose if you stored it straight up, maybe, but yeah. The nice thing about this, as opposed to a regular glass dip pen, is you don't have to keep dipping. And then when you're done with your writing session, presumably you would just empty the ink back into your main bottle. So that's going to be the idea here. Okay, so this is going to come in handy as far as the filling process. Before I do that, I need a tissue in case I need to cry over spilt ink. Okay, I did give this bottle a gentle shake. Well, not really shake, but tossing. I'm not gonna put nearly that much ink in there, but well, maybe. Let's just put it in. Why not? Okay. And I'm going to make use of my favorite budget paper, CVS Caliber paper, which I think is by far the best budget paper. It's actually pretty amazing, pretty darn amazing. I've tried the Target Unison paper, and I honestly had disappointing results with that, but this is considerably more expensive than that, but still definitely budget paper. This was under $5, so yeah. All right, so I will be curious to see how a glass nib works on here, just because it's really thin paper and it's slightly toothy. For almost all fountain pens, I love how the writing is on here, but this is a glass nibbed pen, so we'll see. But first I'm oh wow, yeah, it's flowing down on the nib there. I really wonder, like, oh yeah. I mean, what's to keep it from just absolutely pouring out? Anyway, I mean, I don't know if you can see, but there's drops forming on there. So, yeah, see, it's gonna drip. Huh. Very interesting. I mean, it's just gonna keep dripping. Huh. This is interesting. Well, there you see the color of the ink. Now, I'm wondering, maybe I should have put more ink in there, but I don't know. Anyway, let's just start writing. I don't know, it's just pouring out. Okay, this is gonna take some practice, I guess. So I have a very strange sensation when I'm writing with it. It feels like the nib is kind of moving back and forth. So at first it was pouring out, and now it seems like more of a steady flow. So I guess at first, kind of get those first few drops off. Yeah. It definitely keeps up. So it's certainly scratchy, but you know, that's the case with virtually every glass nib pen. So yeah. So let's give a shout out here to Fountain Pens, Ink, and More. That's the YouTube channel there. It definitely feels like it's, yeah, I don't know if you can see that. the nib wiggles in there, but the flow is much better now. Initially, it was just pouring out, but I assume, you know, it just needs to be saturated in there, and then it'll start coming at a more normal rate, because it definitely seems better now. Yeah, I love this ink, by the way. Let's see. Let's give another shout out to stationery _ studio dot sheen _ shan, and that's on Instagram. And on Etsy, I actually purchased it from Girls. Yeah. Very, very interesting. So now it's working beautifully. And let's just see. Well, it's kind of silly to do a wetness test because it is very, very wet. Very wet. Nice. You definitely get kind of a different flow. There's points where it starts to dry out just a little bit, and then others where it's just like almost pouring out again. As far as holding it, it's very comfortable. It has a nice big section here, and it's just smooth plastic. It's not really slippery. I didn't have any issues with that. You do feel the threads only slightly sharp. You do feel this though, and this is a fairer step up. And if you're holding it back a little further, it's probably going to be a little uncomfortable. Yeah. Now I've been talking here for a little bit, so let's see what the flow is like. Wow. Okay, I am super happy with this. Oh. Wow. Yeah, this is excellent. Again, I will mention, and you see there's still a fair amount of ink in there. I will mention that you do get the sensation, because basically I've seen a nib similar to this removed in a YouTube video, and the end that is in there is very similar to this end. It's being held here by a sort of, I assume, plastic or possibly rubber section that you're naturally, because it's not gripping it all the way down there, you're naturally going to get some wiggle. So that takes a little getting used to, the little wiggle there, but yeah. But wow, that's pretty incredible. Again, you would not want to store it this way for any real length of time, I would imagine. Pretty much when you're done with your writing session, I would assume you're going to want to clean it. And I think this is going to speak well of this paper. I'm going to bet money on it. How much money, I'm not sure, but I'm going to bet money on it. Yeah. This is why I love this paper. You only have, I think, one tiny, tiny little spot. One tiny little spot where it's peeking through just a little bit. Wow. Wow. I think the pen would feel better on smoother paper. It's scratchy on here. You can definitely write fairly easily. Even with my poor penmanship, you know, I was able to write fairly easily on this paper. But I think the experience would be a lot better on nice, smooth paper. So, but wow, I'm very, very impressed with this. The next thing I'm wondering is the cleaning process. Because it looks like there's a lot of nooks and crannies in there. For the ink to get. But at the same time, I assume, you know, you would just flush it out. But anyway, wow. Wow. Oh, my goodness. So a huge thank you to Fountain Pens Ink and More. Again, she had the piston filler. I would love to get a piston filler. But this is quite excellent. So... and it comes from the same seller. So thank you so much, Fountain Pens Ink and More, for showing a glass nib fountain pen on your channel. And on Instagram, stationery_studio.sheen_shan, or on Etsy, Girls. But I don't even think they have any pens listed on their account right now, on their Etsy store or shop, I guess they call it. Oh, I'm so excited. I waited a couple days to make this video, so I could not wait to unbox this. But yeah, there you go. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.